Ukrainian president visited Washington to appeal for help fighting Russia, winning warm words of support and weapons from Joe Biden, but confronting U.S. skeptics. Volodymyr Zelensky confronted skeptical Republicans who want to cut off aid, despite the U.S. and allies' continued ambitious efforts to bolster the Ukrainians. There is no sign of an endgame in the war. The conflict seems destined to enter an even more complicated phase in the months ahead. Biden announced a new package of U.S. military aid, including sophisticated air defense weapons. He said the first M1 Abrams tanks will arrive in Ukraine next week, boosting Kyiv's forces as they battle Russian troops in a slow-moving counteroffensive.
And together with our partners and allies, the American people are determined to see to it that we do all we can to ensure the world stands with you, and that is our overwhelming objective right now.
Ukrainian leader arrived after another wave of Russian strikes hitting cities across the country and killing at least 3 people in Kherson and wounding many in other areas. Wearing his trademark olive green military-style shirt, Zelensky said Ukraine has exactly what the soldiers needed.
Our regular dialogue is proof that our countries are really truly allies and strategic friends, and we greatly appreciate the vital assistance provided by the United States to Ukraine to combat Russian terror.
Behind the visuals, firm handshakes across a grand cabinet table and shows of solidarity in the Oval Office lay the fact that Zelensky's second wartime trip to the United States was far tougher than the first one. This time he spent his closed-door meetings in the U.S. Congress desperately trying to overcome growing war fatigue from the Republicans. Hardline Republicans are threatening to block Democrat Biden's request for a fresh $24 billion aid package for Ukraine. It has now become caught up in a bitter spending battle that could spark a U.S. government shutdown. The U.S. president said there was no alternative to backing the Ukraine funding, adding that he was counting on the judgment of the Congress. As part of his bid to win over Washington, Zelensky went to the Pentagon, where he laid a wreath at a memorial for the victims of the September 11, 2001 attacks. But in a blow to Zelensky, Biden rejected a request for a longer ATACMS missiles that can strike up to 300 kilometers away. Some experts view the Russia-Ukraine war as a manifestation of the renewed geopolitical rivalry between major world powers. Analysts say Moscow is seeking to alter the Western-led system prevailing since the end of the Cold War. Western allies say the war has broken the entire security architecture built patiently on the European continent over many decades. The 31-nation NATO alliance says it is doing everything possible to avert a war similar to the one that ravaged Europe 80 years ago. For more on this, our correspondent Susan Tehrani sent us this report on the Ukrainian president's meeting at the capital. Take a look.
In Washington, money for Ukraine is a flashpoint in talks to avert a government shutdown, as some Republicans in the House and Senate want to see more accountability and tighter control regarding the money being sent to Ukraine, while others want to cut funding altogether under the umbrella of an America First policy. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, under immense pressure from members within his own party and Republican voters, decided not to greet Zelensky publicly as he entered Capitol Hill. Instead, he was greeted by House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries. However, McCarthy and other Republicans did meet with Zelensky behind closed doors, and according to those who attended that meeting, McCarthy asked Zelensky for his plan of action and what he needed exactly to win this war. However, the question that has been left for the most part unanswered is, what does victory mean for Washington? Does it mean the pullout of all Russian troops from Ukraine, including Crimea? Well, the White House says that it wants to move Ukraine towards the negotiating table, but from a position of power. How long that will take, well, it's anyone's guess.